Michel de Fabiani, you're chair of the policy committee at ECODA. ECODA is the umbrella organization representing, through the national associations, the directors sitting on the board of companies of all sizes and sectors in Europe. I knew you because you are ex-BP president, former former BP president in Brussels. So is it to the board or to the legislation to enforce this kind of recommendations?
Well, first thing I would like to say is that shareholders' primacy for board members it does only mean that if we have no shareholder, we have no company. So that's what I mean by shareholder primacy. For me, it's not short-term, long-term. It's really, we need shareholders anyway, whether you are public, private, and even in an association, you need members who pay their fee. Second point is the way we see the duty of boards, or the role of boards, is that they must ensure that the company creates value. I don't talk about profit. Creates value for its shareholders, obviously, and its relevant stakeholders. Not all stakeholders, but the relevant stakeholders, I'll come back to it, in a sustainable way, which is for the longer term. So that's what we have to do. And I would add, the mindset is, indeed, we must remain in business or in activity, and therefore we must remain competitive. Now, concerning the legislation, I think the EU legislation is, or should be, more about harmonization, guidance, principles, frameworks, possibility to apply all that at the local level, at the national level, and at the...
Soft law, you mean?
No, I don't mean soft law. I mean a guidance, a directive, principles, frameworks, which can be very precise. But they don't go into the last comma or the last detail. And I think the updating of existing legislation would be a good way, rather than creating a new set of legislation. Perhaps updating those which exist, the non-financial reporting, the director's duties, all the existing legislation which I try to follow. An update might be one way, plus guidance, principles, frameworks, etc. Then I stress the importance of codes, and I think it would be an interesting addition for the EU legislators to promote the existence of codes.
Codes, can you define that term?
So the code is what corporate governance codes. They are what at a national level usually. It started with listed companies. In some countries, you have to choose a code. And this code contains all sorts of indications, from including, of course, the minimum legislation, which is compulsory, but they go much more and much beyond. They integrate best practices, recommendations to do better and to do more. If you take remuneration or nominations, for instance, which is a subject in France at the moment, but in other countries.
Who defines those codes?
It is a body, and this is an important point. I think the EU should look at the framework of defining these codes, and these codes are defined differently country by country at the moment. It could be business, it's legislatures in some countries, a combination of all this. So I think, again, the EU is here to harmonize and to propose frameworks, and then the codes have to be set up at the national level according to the culture, the existence, etc. So I have 2 minutes, so I need to rush. I wanted to add one point, which is corporations are not alone in this game. Sustainability is important. The board needs to ensure we have a purpose, redefine the purpose, redefine the strategy, include all sustainability elements. And I agree, it's not just about climate change. Climate change is obvious, but there are all sorts of other things. But we are not alone in this game, and I'm sure my colleague will represent another party, another stakeholder in this game. And the finance world, finance, insurance, investors, is of course a key part, because the boards are here. We need to take account of what the finance sector wants also.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you very much, Michel.